For New Year's, my girlfriend and I decided to go on a road trip to New York. We wanted to go see all of the celebrations and fireworks. At the time, I was 21, and I had a bad car that would break down every once in a while. We both went to the same college, so when we both had our holiday break, we decided to go visit New York. I knew this trip would take us 6 hours, but I was confident that the car could get us there. A few hours into the trip, I already started hearing some noises coming from the car engine. This was very bad, considering we were only 3 hours in. Around 20 minutes later, the car stopped working, near a sketchy motel. At this time, it was already dark. I can't really remember what the time was, but we tried calling our friends and family. Since nobody was able to help us, we decided to check into the sketchy motel. When my girlfriend and I entered the motel, there was a weird smell. Finally, after waiting for 5 minutes, we were greeted by an old man. He looked like he was in his mid-40s or 50s, with white hair and a giant smile on his face. Either way, we explained our situation and asked for a room. The man was very hesitant, explaining that there was no customers here for a while. In the end, he agreed to give us a room. After getting our room, my girlfriend and I went upstairs to the second floor to stay the night. Once we finished putting our stuff down, I told her that I was going to run to the car to get a water bottle. When I exited the hotel, I saw the same guy from earlier staring at me from behind a wall. I was a little creeped out, so I hurried to the car. After grabbing the water bottle, I looked around the entire parking lot, but the guy was gone. That was when I noticed that our car was the only car in the parking lot. This really scared me, so I ran back upstairs to our room. When I walked into our room, I saw my girlfriend sitting on the bed, looking very scared. She told me that when she was in the bathroom, she saw a face staring at her from the other side of the mirror. I knew instantly what she was talking about, a two-way mirror, like the ones you see in scary movies. At this point, we knew that we were not safe in the hotel. At the same time, I knew that it would be too risky to go back to the car and lock ourselves in. After a little while of thinking, we decided to lock all of the doors and try to get some sleep. Later that night, I woke up to a very loud banging sound. It sounded like it was coming from the mirror in the bathroom. I turned on the lamplight and positioned myself to where I could see a glimpse of the bathroom window. As I looked, I saw the face of the same old man smiling back at me. I tried my best to scream, but nothing really came out, since I was petrified in fear. All of that commotion woke up my girlfriend. I told her to look at the mirror in the bathroom, but when she looked, there was no one there. The old man was gone. At this point, I knew we were not safe, so I told my girlfriend that we needed to make a run to the car. We also decided to call the police, but we knew it would take them a while to get here, since the motel was literally in the middle of nowhere. Once I got off the phone, I packed our bags and started walking towards the door. As my girlfriend was about to open the door, we saw the silhouette of a man standing on the other side of the door. I got goosebumps just thinking about how long the man must have been at the door. Since I was so scared, my adrenaline started kicking in. I took a chair from the room and threw it at the door, breaking the glass. This scared the man, since he ran in the opposite direction. This gave my girlfriend and I enough time to escape the room and run to the car. Once we were both in the car, we locked the door and just waited. After 5 minutes of quiet, we could see two people approaching the car. At this point, my girlfriend and I started praying because we were so scared. We thought we were going to die. Luckily, that was when we heard the cop sirens. The two guys ran as fast as they could back to the motel, with the cops chasing right after them. After 10 minutes, the cops walked out of the motel, holding both guys in handcuffs. We told the police our problem, and they were able to help us fix the car. Before my girlfriend and I were about to drive off, the police told us this: the motel closed about a year ago, and the two guys wanted to lure people into their trap. It was around 10 on New Year's. My cousin and I were getting ready to go to the store to buy some fireworks. We wanted to get some fireworks and light them at midnight. Since the store was very close to my house, we decided to walk. It was very dark outside and foggy. As we approached the store, we could see a sign that said closed. This was very annoying because we were left with no fireworks. On our way back from the store, a random man approached us. He was wearing black clothes with the hood on. He told us that there is going to be a fireworks show 2 blocks down on the corner of the street. When the guy finally left, my cousin and I decided that we wanted to go see the fireworks. At this time, we were not really skeptical because we lived in a very small and boring town. After a little while, we decided to start going towards the location. By this time, it was getting very late. I don't really remember the time. It did not take that long to get there, because in 5 minutes we already reached the corner of the street. When we looked around, we saw lots of trees and woods, and a path leading deeper into the woods. At first we thought this was the wrong location. Suddenly, out of nowhere, we heard a loud fireworks sound coming from the woods. We looked up towards the sky, but we did not see any light. We figured the trees were in the way, so that is why we did not see the firework lights. By this time, there was more fireworks sounds coming from the woods. We realized we were in the right spot, so we decided to follow the path deeper into the woods. The more we walked in the woods, the louder the sound got. After a little while, we started hearing a more muffled or static fireworks sound. This sound was very strange. When we finally reached the spot, we saw a large speaker. All of the fireworks sounds were coming from the speaker. Now I really started to get scared, because I knew that someone was messing with us. As we approached the speaker, we got even more confused. My cousin and I decided to look around to see if anyone is messing with us. After a little while of looking into the woods through the trees, I heard a noise right behind me. It sounded like a stick breaking. I immediately turned around towards the noise. That was when I saw a tall guy standing behind a tree staring at us. He was also holding something in his hand. I quickly told my cousin and pointed towards the tree. We knew we were being watched for a while now, so we started walking back down the path of the woods. After a minute, we started hearing footsteps in the leaves. Also, the fireworks sounds have stopped. We knew we were being followed, so we started running. As I was running, I looked back only to see 3 people dressed in all black chasing after my cousin and I. I was so terrified as we continued running. When we finally reached the street and exited the woods, we looked back. This was when I realized that the 3 guys stopped at the edge of the woods. They did not step foot outside of the woods. The 3 guys were staring at my cousin and I from behind the trees. I am very happy that we escaped the woods with our lives that day. It scares me to think about the fact that we were about to get jumped by those guys if we did not escape in time. It was around 7:30, and I was getting ready to go to a party for New Year's. After a couple minutes, I started driving to the spot. The party was going to be in a small neighborhood, with only a couple of friends. When I finally arrived, I was greeted by my best friend. He let me in the house, and we quickly started playing table tennis to pass the time. We had to wait till midnight to celebrate the new year. Around 2 hours later, as we watched TV, we could hear distant fireworks from other people in our town. Suddenly, the doorbell rang. I was very confused because the party had started 2 hours ago, and all the guests were here. My friend walked to the door and opened it. He was greeted by an old lady holding a small slip of paper. She did not speak a single word as she handed the slip of paper to my friend. When he grabbed the paper, the old lady turned and started walking away into the darkness. This seemed very strange and kinda scary. When my friend came back to the living room, he read the paper out loud. There was going to be a fireworks show at one of the houses down the block. The address and the time of the show was also written on the slip of paper. Me, being very dumb at the time, decided it would be a good idea to go see the fireworks show. I quickly convinced my friends to go to the house with me at midnight. Once it was finally time, my friends and I headed down the block to the address. As we approached the location, we could see a very small broken house. At this point, we were terrified. We followed the note from the random old lady and showed up to an abandoned house. Since we were already here and we missed the entire New Year's countdown, we decided to explore the abandoned house instead. I was leading the group, so we entered through a broken window. Inside the house, there was lots of darkness, so my friend and I took out our flashlights and turned them on. We could see lots of broken furniture. As we continued our way, I heard a loud thump coming from the second floor. We knew it was probably an animal, so we continued walking up the stairs. When I reached the top floor, I shined my light into the first room I saw. There, I could see 2 mattresses on the floor, as if 2 people were living here. I quietly continued towards the second room and shined a flashlight inside. What I saw inside that room, I will never forget for the rest of my life. There was the same old lady from earlier, sitting in a chair facing a wall without moving. As I was standing there in complete fear, I heard a small raspy voice say, "Are you here to join us for New Year's?" I was so scared that I yelled at my friends to run and leave the house. After escaping the house with our lives, we started speed walking towards my friend's house. Before we were fully out of sight, I decided to look back towards the house one last time. To my surprise, I saw the old lady standing in the window staring at us. Not only that, standing right next to her in the window was an old man, and he was also staring at us. When we finally reached my friend's house, we called the cops and told them to go check that house. To this day, I still can't shake the feeling that the old man was also in the house and he was watching us.